Hey friends, it's Linda Dolke. I'm a demonstrator with Stampin' Up in Australia, and today I have this gorgeous little diorama card to share with you. Super easy card, just 2 layers, and it's not going to take us very long. But the cool thing is that I've used the marvelous paper. You might be able to see it here at the back. You can see that marble paper, and I've created a sunset effect on that very easily. And this is a paper that's available for free right now. This is January 2022, and it's available for free in your celebration offerings. So in Australia, that means if you spend $90, it can be one of your choices to choose from as a gift with purchase. So I hope that you'll enjoy seeing me do this today. I think it's a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you can see when I go live and create lots more gorgeous things to show you. So here we go. We're going to be making a diorama card. I'm going to be using this suite of products. This is called Grassy Grove. It's a stamp set and a set of dies that match. If you don't have the stamp set, you would be able to use another set instead, but they are sold both independently and as a bundle. So just quickly show you what they look like inside. This is the Grassy Grove, the Grove dies, and we've got different shapes that match up with the shapes in the stamp set, but we've also got this great standalone piece. And here's a card I made earlier, a little bit different to the one we're going to be doing today, but similar. So we are making a diorama. Now, I've done a few dioramas in the past, and everyone loves a good diorama, it seems, but today I'm doing a simple version. So my previous dioramas have had 3 layers. This one only has 2, and you're going to start with 2 pieces of paper. Now I have measured, I use A4 cardstock here, I'm in Australia, and all I did was I got a piece of A4 black and I cut it straight down the middle, and a piece of A4 white and cut that straight down the middle lengthways. So this measurement is exactly halfway across, so it's 10.5 centimeters wide. If you're in the US, you're going to cut your letter size cardstock straight in half, and that would be an 8.5 width, so it's going to be 4.25 wide when you're finished. These pieces will be 4.25 inches wide. So that is the only measurement I'm doing in metric today, because it's actually easier to make a diorama card with inches or imperial measurements rather than centimeters. So let's just quickly show you. Okay, I have made these 7.5 inches long. So once I've got my half width of cardstock, I'm then measuring the remaining piece to be 7.5 inches long. So both of them, the white and the black, are exactly the same size. Okay, 7.5 inches long and half the width of your cardstock. So just I'm going to use my trimmer, and I'm going to use the scoring blade to get the scoring edges on the ends. And like I said, this is easier in inches. 1/2 inch is my first score from the end, and then 1 inch. So I'm doing 1/2 inch and 1 inch on one end of the white, turning it around and doing the same thing on the other side. 1/2 inch, 1 inch. Same with the black. Okay, so 1/2 inch and then 1 inch. This is actually a seriously easy diorama card if you're looking for a great place to start with diorama cards, or you don't have a lot of time to spend on it. This is a really easy way to get a good result. All right, let's move that out of the way. Now, what I do is I fold it in at the 1 inch mark and then fold it back on itself at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay, then I get a bone folder or something that you're going to use to flatten that edge down, because this will sit better if it's going to be nice and flat. Okay, so hopefully you can see it's kind of like a little concertina look, and we're going to do exactly the same thing on the other end. Fold in and then back on itself and score. Sorry, flatten. It's already scored. Same thing with the white. We're going to do exactly the same thing. There's something about fancy fold cards that everyone just loves. Now, the white is going to be the back of my card, and the the black is going to be the front. So the white is going to sit on this flat panel here at the back so that these little concertina bits are sticking up. The black is going to end up going the other way. So these two pieces, hopefully you can see this okay, these two pieces end up being glued together. We're not going to do that just yet, but hopefully you can see how this card is going to sit. So it's just 2 layers, okay, not the normal 3 that I've done in the past. If you want to see those, I'll put links to those in the description below. All right, now I've got another piece of paper that I'm bringing in. Okay, this is actually from our Marvelous DSP, which is this paper here. Okay, this is new out for celebration to 2021, 2022. Oh my goodness. And you can see the papers look like they're kind of a marble surface, which is where they get their name. And there's pink and yellow and purple and lots of different colors. Look at them all, gray, blue, aqua. Okay, and on the back they are, so on one side it's got like this marble look, realistic marble design, except probably not so much for the color, but the design is very realistic. And on the back it's like a swirly marbled pattern, something a little different. Okay, so I'm using the pink today, but you could use any of these. And the pink is going to kind of simulate a swirly sky. I kind of like that idea. Okay, now I have cut this piece to be the same size as the middle of the white panel at the back here. All right, and we will go ahead and stick this together. You can use whatever you like to glue this in. You could use seal, you could use Tombow glue, which is our multi-purpose liquid glue. You could use tape, whatever suits you. Okay, so in this case I'm going to use a bit of multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to run this over the back. Now if you're interested in the measurements for this, I have made it ever so slightly smaller than this white panel here at the back. So I took about 1 millimeter off each side. So this is 5.5 inches wide. And so you take off either 1 millimeter or 1/16 of an inch. So it's a tiny bit in from the edges, and the same with this. So if it's 10.5 centimeters wide here, the half the width of the cardstock that we had earlier, you're going to make this about 1 millimeter or ever so tiny little bit smaller, so that it won't mess up the folds at the side. That's all. Okay, and it just sits kind of slightly inside there. If you did make it the same size, it wouldn't matter, but this way it's just a little neater. Okay, and that's sitting ready to go. All right, now we're going to work on our black piece here at the top. Remember this piece that we talked about before in the Grove dies? We're going to be putting this through our die cut machine. So whatever machine that you use, whether it be a Big Shot or a cut and emboss machine or whatever you might have, this is going to go in the center, and it's about 1 centimeter or not quite 1/2 inch up from the bottom, so that it's really centered. Okay, and I'm going to put this through my machine, and I'll pop back in just a second so you can see what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so here it is. Just take it off the plate very, very gently. Now, when you take it off, it leaves this piece behind. I used that black piece left over. I found it was the perfect size to cut out the deer that I would like standing behind the trees. So, you know, you can easily put this right there on this piece and cut that out as well. So that way there's no wastage. You're just using that little piece that you wanted to cut out as well. And you're going to cut that out to give you a little black deer. There she is, isn't she pretty? All right, let's get rid of these. Now, I've taken this off, and you can see some of the pieces have fallen out automatically and some of them are still left in. This is just a little trick that I use to get this out easily. We have one of these die brush attachments. You can buy these. They go onto the end of your take your pick tool. Just screws onto the end there instead of the putty end. I love these. I think they're fantastic, and it saves you so much time. I turn it over just so I don't scratch the surface, and I just roll my brush over the top of what I've done. And then you should be able to see almost all the pieces have fallen out completely there. If there's any left, just use the other end of your tool or a piercing tool if that's what you have. And the rest of them are now out. So that's done. All right. All right, let's have a little look at this. So when I put it through my machine, you'll see that it flattened this out a little bit. You may want to just fold that again. And if you feel it's necessary, go over it again with your bone folder, perhaps. But you can see it doesn't take much and it's sitting back up again. All right, so here's our piece, our white and our black. And when we put these two together, oh, sorry, picked up the wrong one. I've got one that I already, I've got multiples of them. I'm making a whole bunch of these at the moment. All right, so you can see that those two ends fit together beautifully there. All right, it's looking good. We could just leave it like that if we wanted to, but I wanted to create the impression of a sunset. So I've done something a little different. I'm using my Bumblebee ink, or you could use any sort of strong yellow ink. Bumblebee's a nice soft yellow, and I'm using a blending brush just to pick up some ink. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here at the bottom. Now, if you wanted to give yourself an idea, I want to come up not quite halfway, because I don't want to cover the whole thing. I want the pink to still be seen. So I'm going to start here at the bottom and just circle my ink on. You don't need to be too precise with this. And before we finish, we'll just double check to see how that's looking. So I want like a sunset's kind of a sky, yellow at the horizon. Yeah, that's looking pretty nice actually. If you want it to be darker, just go in for a second load and just add a bit more ink. But you don't want to go up too high because you still want to see some of that pink. All right, I think that's pretty good. That's looking nice. Now, while I've got this sitting in place, I'm also going to bring in my little deer. Where should she sit? So she's going to be probably around here. Let me just see that this is right. I want her to sort of, you could have her anywhere really. You could have her behind the trees, or you can have her in the center. I didn't want her like 100% in the center, but I want her feet to be low enough down that they're covered up by this piece here. So I'm going to grab a little bit of glue behind her. You could put her on dimensionals if you wanted to. That would look nice too. It's not necessary, but you could do that. And let's move her so she's just here. Make sure that that's okay. The good thing about liquid glue is we've got a few seconds to move her if we're not happy. But I am happy with that. That's pretty good. All right. So then we go ahead and we're going to adhere this strip here, this piece and this piece. Now you can do this with tape. Tape is really easy, just to put the strip down here and then put it straight on. Or you could use Tombow once again. Or you could just use seal. Now seal is good if you wanted to have something that's quick and easy. It is the quickest alternative. So in this case, I am going to go with the seal, and I'm just going to pop it onto that piece there and onto this piece. It doesn't matter if you put it onto the white or the black. It makes no difference. But we just want it on this little piece. We don't want it anywhere else. So the easiest way to do it is to line this up by holding the black and the white together, and then come back and do the other side. And make sure you give it a good firm push so it's sitting straight and then flat. All right, so you can see this sits together. This sits up really nicely, okay? And it does fold flat if you want to pop it in an envelope. You will need a slightly longer than usual envelope. So it is the same height as a regular card, but you'll want a longer envelope to fit it in. Okay, so when it comes to adding the sentiment, okay, you can see on this one I use the tailored tag punch at the back, and then I just cut a little shape using the same punch here. Today I'm going to use instead the oval punch, the double oval punch it's called, and I'm going to cut the larger oval, which has got a bit of a scallop shape on it, from the beautiful supple glimmer paper, which is in our latest catalogue. It comes in blue and iridescent pool party. In the catalogue it says it comes in pink, say again, it comes in pink, an iridescent pill party. In the catalogue, it says it's blue, but it definitely isn't. That's not correct. Now I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo ink, and I'm going to use my thank you from the same stamp set. That's this one here, that little thank you there from the Grassy Grove set. Just making sure I haven't picked up any extra ink, which is easy to do with these small stamps. And I'm going to use some basic white, and I'm just going to stamp this. Now this does, because I'm using a larger piece, and I probably should have thought this out a little bit more before I started, when I do this, I'm going to end up with two ovals, this one and this one. I don't really want this one for this card. I can use it for something else. But if you want to minimize that wastage and you don't want this, you could also cut a strip of paper, and that would minimize that. All right, so behind here, totally up to you whether you want to, you know, use a dauber, or you can just ink around this if you want to. I'm using the Bumblebee ink and inking very, very gently around my little oval there. But you can use a dauber if you prefer for that. Turn it over, and we're going to add a couple of dimensionals behind this. Dimensionals and glue dots are the only things that stick really well to glimmer paper. So just keep that in mind when you're trying to attach things to it. Here we go. All right, this piece here. Now, up to you whether you want to put this on with, if you want to lift it up again, then you could use a couple of dimensionals again behind it. Or if you prefer, you could use just a bit of seal like I'm doing right now. And then that just goes in that top left-hand corner. All right, just like that, okay? And there you go. This is pretty much finished. You could add a few diamantes if you wanted to. Some little iridescent gems would look really cute. Let's have a look here. Whoop. I should be using my take your pick tool to actually lift these up. So maybe a couple of different sizes would be good. And maybe a small one up here. There we go, just like that. I just think that's so pretty and very, very easy, and it stands up really, really well by itself. And you're thinking, well, where do I write? You'll be writing on the back, which is why we kept this a white panel. But I think it looks really, really lovely, and I hope you like it too. If you are listening today to me, I go live here once or twice a week, and I do little tip videos just like this one. So if you would like to see more of what I do, please hit that subscribe button, because I'd love to see you again, and that's how you'll follow what I'm up to. Have a great day, and I hope that you get some creative time in. See you soon. Bye-bye.